One type of prospect that you're going to run into fairly frequently are the do-it-yourselfers. These are people that are going online, looking around, shopping for a tool, and then using that tool themselves to achieve whatever results they can. And some of those results are pretty good, right? Do-it-yourselfers do their own websites. They do all kinds of stuff themselves these days. They go on Fiverr, buy their own logos, all kinds of stuff. However, you should not be intimidated by these people. You shouldn't be intimidated by any do-it-yourself solution because of one major factor, which is time. Doing it yourself, building your own site, is something you can do when you have time on your hands to do it. Going and getting a logo made by somebody on Fiverr is something you can do when you have the time and when you have the initiative to get it done. Going and having your own brochures made, going and having your own SEO done, on and on and on and on and on. These tools all require administration. They all require work to be done. The results they spit out are never comparable to a professional, and there's a good reason why the entire industry of web development, the industry of SEO, pay-per-click, and this entire world that we exist within, this industry is doing nothing but growing and growing and growing these days. Because despite all these DIY tools, the fact is people are not getting better results. In fact, many times the do-it-yourself solutions are markedly inferior to the results you got a generation or two ago from a professional back then. So I am never intimidated. When people tell me, why would I buy a website from you? Why don't, rather than just use the tool I found online? I tell them, well, the same reason you go to a dentist and then instead of buying yourself a Leatherman tool. You know, the same reason that you go to a doctor when you're sick instead of going out in the field and picking leeches. You're doing, if you do it yourself, you get the results of do it yourself. Now, some of those results can be pretty good. Some of these DIY platforms are pretty good. However, they require you to be just as good to get the results out the other end of them. For example, just about anybody can go and install WordPress, right? They can get a WordPress blog established. These days, you can edit pretty easily with something called Elementor from within WordPress, and getting a theme installed is maybe something you can get done. However, if that's where your skills end, right? Say you need something designed. Well, now you have to be a graphic designer and you need a blog filled up. Well, now you need to be a writer. Let's say that you want an animated video background. Well, now you need to be a videographer. At some point, your skill set breaks down because unless you're a developer for a living, unless this is what you do for a living, you're not going to do all of those things well. Because the odds are you're a restaurateur or a doctor or an attorney or whatever you're doing for a living. You are not a videographer / designer / coder //. So the end result is going to be something that looks botched and bodged together. And this is a universal truth. And it's also proven by the fact that Google released some stats on this stuff, and it's something like 70% of the DIY websites are incomplete that are out there. And I mean, you can go and look this stuff up yourself online. Most of the DIY sites that you're going to find are missing things, big things, important things. And most of those platforms, though they may be decent platforms, are not utilized to the max by the user. So when somebody gives you the whole, why would I pay for that? You should respond the same way as, why would you pay for a house instead of building that yourself, or a car instead of making one, or a knife instead of going and pounding iron ore, or anything in life. The fact is, you're a human being. Human beings are very capable of doing a wide variety of things for themselves that they pay for, because these are professions. And if you want professional results, you pay for them. It is just that simple. It's not complicated. I mean, there's DIY kits out there for everything in life, not just technology stuff. There's DIY repair kits for everything from teeth to cars and everything in between. And mechanics are not worried. Dentists are not worried. So you shouldn't be worried either. When you encounter people who are DIYers, I agree with them. I don't fight with them. And I'm not. And the other side of this, too, is that your DIY people as a group, the people that are looking to spend so little to get a site built or to get SEO, to rank or any of that stuff, if somebody is looking to spend that little, they really don't have any business being my customer anyway. Just like the person that goes to a doctor and, shows up with a bucket of leeches and says, hey, can you improve on this? The doctor throws him out or sends him to a psychiatric hospital, hopefully. They don't sit there and compete with the leech guy. We don't compete with the DIY guy. That's not our job. We're trying to deliver professional solutions. You're a reseller of professional solutions. You're not a reseller of, crappy DIY solutions. And you can't found your business on being a DIYer anyway, because you get caught in that whole trap of, oh, well, I'll build the sites myself and sell them. Okay, now you're going to spend all your time doing edits and revisions and changes and graphics and uploads and downloads and all the stuff that needs to be done to build sites. You're not going to be able to sell. So you're never going to be able to scale. So you're never going to build an agency. You're going to stick to being a very small shop, which, who knows, maybe for some folks that's fine. But this channel and our business and the industry that we're in is all about people building agencies. That means that they have hopefully dozens and dozens and hundreds of clients over time, right? Not a few clients that they handle for their friends. If that's the case, pick up web development as a hobby, and that's fine if you do that. I have nothing against that. I have nothing against anyone doing anything, really. But, when people give me this whole thing about, oh, the DIY people are going to, overtake the pros, I've been hearing that since I was, since I didn't have any hair on my face. And I got a lot of hair there now, as you can see. I mean, that's been something that we've been hearing for, almost 30 years. People are not going to need programmers. The computer's going to program itself. Okay, yeah, that really turned out a true prediction. Anyhow, that's going to conclude this video. I just wanted to do a quick vid on DIYers and why these DIY solutions are no threat. If you like this vid and you want to see more like it, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and drop some comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, ring that bell so you get a notification when we drop new vids after you subscribe, which you should do.